KUAM TV8, home of Super Bowl 60, coming February 9th, 2026. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving it.
On KUAM News Primetime.
Candidates are already picking up their packets here at the Guam Election Commission for Election 2026. I'm Matsuki Hirayama with what you need to know coming up.
Prolonged paralysis of Guam's Cannabis Control Board continues to block the island's legal cannabis industry, costing businesses and leaving consumers without a transparent, regulated market. I'm Nevaeh Anderson with more on this coming up.
A measure seeking to allow funds to be used for the pre-development of the Simon Sanchez Rebuild project gets its public hearing. More on Bill 235 tonight. Hafa and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Destiny Cruz-Lingus. Thanks for starting your week with us. Well, several potential candidates are taking the first official step toward the 2026 Guam election. The Guam Election Commission began distributing candidate packets last week. Matsuki Hirayama has more on what new candidates and voters need to know.
15 potential candidates have started paperwork to run for office this election, a mix of incumbent and newcomers vying for seats in Adelup, the legislature, Congress, and more. So far in the race for Adelup, Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenor packets under the Democratic ticket, and Vice Speaker Tony Ada and businessman E.J. Calvo under the Republican ticket. Former Chief Prosecutor Phil Tidinko got a packet for Attorney General, and incumbent James Moylan for delegate. Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan says the early candidate turnout could be better.
I hope there are more, because actually across the nation, across the United States of America, voter participation is driven by the candidates.
Packets have been available since January 5th. Pangilinan says a competitive ballot means more voters will show up at the polls.
Our voter participation has been dwindling.
Last election, Guam saw a historic low voter participation in 2024. Only 48.3% of some 62,000 registered voters casted their ballots. Pangilinan says the GEC is doing their part to increase voter turnout this year.
One of the things that we're doing right now is we have an I Voted sticker design contest going on at all the schools. This is our current I Voted sticker design, and we want the new stickers to be designed by the school children, and hopefully we can get their parents, the faculty and staff of the school to come out and vote.
She adds it's easy to register to vote at the GEC or in every mayor's village office. But the director notes this year there is a key change. New voters or voters updating their name or village must verify U.S. citizenship.
There's a new requirement that they have to submit proof of citizenship. And so all they have to do is send us either a passport, birth certificate, a naturalization certificate.
Candidates will also see changes this election cycle. Campaign finance rules have been updated.
So now they have to file every quarter, where in the past they had to only file preliminary reports right before the primary and right before the general, and then final reports after the primary and general.
Candidates must pay closer attention to contribution limits and reporting deadlines, or they could face up to a $1,000 fine. Meantime, the GEC will accept completed candidate packets for the August 1st primary from February 23rd to May 1st.
Government of Guam affects everybody here on Guam. Who runs the government of Guam is who gets elected. Come out on August 3rd. Come out on August 1st and November 3rd and make your voices heard.
Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Well, nearly 6 years after Guam legalized adult use cannabis, there is still no legal market on the island. Lawmakers say the problem is no longer the law itself, but the system meant to carry it out. Nevaeh Anderson reports.
The Guam Cannabis Act has been on the books since 2019, but today there is not a single business on the island that is licensed and operational for legal cannabis testing. And lawmakers say the reason has less to do with demand and more to do with dysfunction. That breakdown was the focus of a public hearing and legislative roundtable on Senator Tello Taitagui's Bill number 245, a measure that would extend a temporary exemption from cannabis laboratory testing requirements from 2 years to 5. Taitagui stressed the bill does not remove testing standards or make the exemption permanent. Rather, she says it gives the government more time to build the system the law requires.
Laboratory testing for cannabis is an important safeguard for consumers, and this bill does not abandon that principle.
And Department of Public Health and Social Services Deputy Director Amanda Shelton reiterated,
"There are currently no licensed cannabis facilities in operation, including licensed laboratories capable of conducting the required testing."
Much of the roundtable discussion focused on the Cannabis Control Board, which is required by law to meet monthly, but has not met for nearly a year. Lawmakers said that inactivity has stalled licensing, enforcement, coordination, rulemaking, and required annual reporting. And industry testimony highlighted the cost of those delays.
I think the difficulties lie in the fact that there's been a lot of slow walking for whatever reason.
Stephen Roberto of Guam's Real Deal LLC told senators his businesses have spent years navigating shifting requirements, expiring approvals, and interagency clearances, forcing him to reapply for annual licenses for the past 3 years.
Guam's cannabis industry can succeed only if regulations reflect real-world operating conditions and protect those who complied early and in good faith. Extending the testing waiver is essential to provide the breathing room needed for these bureaucratic issues to be resolved without prematurely halting industry's progress.
The roundtable also identified broader barriers, including zoning restrictions, utility clearances, financing challenges, limited banking access, and delays in implementing Guam's seed-to-sale tracking system. Community advocates, including Guam Grassroots, warn that prolonged regulatory paralysis harms more than businesses, undermining public trust and leaving medical patients and consumers without a regulated, transparent market. Lawmakers described Bill 245 as a temporary bridge meant to keep the program intact, while demanding accountability from agencies responsible for making Guam's cannabis law work. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
A final push to speak on the record against a federal proposal for deep-sea mining in the Marianas. As the federal government considers opening more U.S. territorial waters to extract valuable minerals from the ocean floor, Pacific Island communities are coming together to document their opposition. Just hours before the comment period closes on Tuesday, Guam time, Right to Democracy, in partnership with the America the Beautiful for All Coalition, will host a virtual panel examining the federal proposal and its implications for island communities, ocean ecosystems, and self-determination. The panel will feature speakers from local and national civil society organizations who will share the results of their outreach efforts and successes in submitting comments to the Federal Register for a similar proposal in American Samoa. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and Speaker Frank Blas Jr. are expected to attend as special guests. The virtual panel will take place tomorrow, January 13th at 8 a.m. Chamorro Standard Time. The community is encouraged to register for free. Just visit this story on KUAM.com for more information. Momentum continues to build around the long-awaited rebuild of Simon Sanchez High School as lawmakers gathered last week to consider a measure that would add flexibility to the project's pre-development stage. Here's more.
A public hearing was held on Friday on Senator Chris Dueñas' Bill 235-38, the measure seeking to amend a section of existing law tied to a $16.3 million appropriation from the projected unobligated fiscal year 2025 general fund balance. The change would allow the funds to be used not only for developer leaseback payments, but also for pre-development costs. Lawmakers saying the amendment would give the Department of Public Works and the Guam Economic Development Authority clearer authority to carry out authorized spending, helping eliminate legal uncertainty. GIDA CEO and Administrator Cristina Garcia testifying in support of the bill.
By providing the funding in the current fiscal year, the government will be able to begin the pre-development task ahead of the actual project financing. Pre-development tasks may include, but is not limited to, demolition, clearing, and staging ahead of the actual school construction.
Garcia adding that the measure would also help mitigate rising construction costs. Also voicing support was former GITA Administrator Henry Taitano, who offered suggested amendments to the bill.
I listed some rationale for this, but some of these methods are actually also used for a more recent school that was built, Island Charter School, for example, using the CDFI and CDE programs that the federal government has. And that's really the goal, is to provide all the different options for the developer to have in the event to get, whatever the best rates are and whatever, potential grants and subsidies that are out there as well.
When asked about Taitano's proposals, Garcia refraining from commenting in an effort to ensure she wasn't speaking on anything tied to the project's ongoing protest. As KUAM previously reported, demolition and a groundbreaking ceremony were halted in November after a protest was filed. The protesters citing issues of timeliness or completeness of the procurement record. This, as DPW has since stated, it is confident in the record produced and will address any issues regarding specific documents.
In other news, a man is facing 2 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and second-degree custodial interference as a third-degree felony following a missing child investigation in Sinahanya. According to court documents, Guam police responded to a report of a missing 12-year-old girl during the early morning hours of January 11. Officers later located the child at the residence of Jayton Ray Crisostomo. Officers interviewed the girl, who said she had been contacted through social media by Crisostomo, but they did not know each other. He asked her out on a date, and he showed up at her residence at around 1 a.m., and she left her home in a car with Crisostomo and another man. She told them she was 12 years old. At his residence, Crisostomo sexually assaulted the victim. Crisostomo gestured to the victim to keep quiet when the police showed up at his residence. The victim was transported to the Guam Memorial Hospital because she complained of pain. The case remains under investigation. Authorities remind parents and guardians to monitor online interactions and report suspicious activity to police immediately. Time for a quick break. You're watching KUAM.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
UOG alumnus Hernandez holds degrees in accounting and business and has received national recognition for leadership in government finance. He says returning to his alma mater is both an honor and an opportunity to give back through service rooted in integrity, transparency, and results. In other news, the Guam Museum, in partnership with the Guam Girl Scouts, is cherishing a 90 years of Girl Scouting on Guam, an organization that was founded in 1935 and has played a valuable role in the island's history. Beyond cookie sales, the Guam Girl Scouts have assisted on shaping generations of civic and political leaders, while also witnessing major historical events such as typhoons, political change, and even war. In recognition of the milestone, the Guam Museum will present a special exhibit in 2026, highlighting the history and impact of the Guam Girl Scouts. To help bring the exhibit to life, the museum is calling on the community to contribute or loan Girl Scout memorabilia. The items requested include uniforms and other Girl Scout products, photographs, newspaper and magazine clippings, letters and oral histories or interviews. Community members interested in sharing stories or donating items are encouraged to contact Dr. Michael Bavacqua, curator of the Guam Museum, by phone at 671-989-4455. Now, please note that due to space limitations, not all submitted items may be displayed. The deadline for submissions is March 6th, and the Guam Museum hopes this exhibit will preserve and celebrate the lasting legacy of the Guam Girl Scouts for future generations. Well, the launch of the Great Peskadot by local author and University of Guam Press's very own Cabrini Cruz Palomo was met with an outpouring of warmth and support Sunday afternoon at Ipoh Beach Park. Palomo reading from the story rooted in island wisdom and sustainable fishing practices for greeting supporters during a book signing. The afternoon also featured a Taladsa demonstration and family-friendly activities celebrating culture and community. It was a proud moment for the University of Guam with UOG President Dr. Anita Borja Enriquez, the book's editor Verna Zafra Casala, and UOG publicist Via Defont, all sharing in celebration. Palomo taking a moment to thank everyone who supported her along the journey.
I just wanted to say Sizo's Ma'asi to every single one of you who showed up today. I'm just so grateful, and for everyone who pre-ordered, it means the world to me. This is seriously the only thing that I ever wanted to do when I was little. So it's a dream come true, and I'm so happy to have you all witness that today.
And of course, Cabrini is my sister, so congratulations. We are all so proud of you. The Great Peskadot is available now on uogpress.com and at local bookstores. And this past weekend up in Dededo, the smells of delicious baked good traveled all around Payless as the community came out to support the grand opening of LeMay's Bake Shop at the Micronesia Mall. The new business is the passion project of Tricia May Marquez, a 23-year-old UOG who took her love of creating custom confectionery treats and turned it into a business plan.
Thank you so much. We are so overwhelmed by the support that you are all showing to us. We were not expecting this at all. Like, thank you so much. We are so blessed to have you. So just, I'm so sorry. Just a quick story. So this all started from my home kitchen. It started as a creative outlet for me during COVID when I was feeling a lot of anxiety, and I found it, I used this as a way to express my creative abilities while also showing love to the people in my life, and that was through baking and creating.
After cutting the ceremonial ribbon, the bakery opened, staffed by family and friends to the delight of hungry customers. Congrats, Trish. And a new chapter at Today begins tomorrow as Chanel Jones joins Jenna Bush Hager as co-host. Ahead of their debut, the ladies share their excitement about beginning this new chapter and what makes their dynamic a special one.
What makes these shows work is not like one person, it's the
It's both of
chemistry
us.
between us.
It's a dance.
Yes.
And you know, I think for me, I feel like, I hope as we get to know each other and we continue to build memories and laugh, that the people at home are doing it with us.
Yes.
So it's almost like you guys are part of the journey with us.
Yes.
And I feel like, too, there's not really like anybody like us.
No.
I feel like this is a one-of-a-kind situation. I think it's I think it's a good thing. I think the world isn't ready.
Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a side of the We Heart Guam sign along San Vitores Road in Tumaning.
GU Self-Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, Klein's hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access because your safety is our priority. GU Self Storage, voted Pica's Best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Right now, our team is pretty raw, so we're still building it every day. It's getting better though, but you can clearly see that we need improvement. Trying to get our team back on the same page is very necessary for all of us to understand the plays and our concept as a team. So just getting on the same page, yeah.
I think it's a good way to get our feet wet and see what the competition is and really see that where we need to be and where we're at to get success in the regular season. I feel like it's definitely building. These 5 a.m. practices aren't easy, so I feel like everyone that's showing up here, we're building chemistry, and I think we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, look, all that stress on my brain, right? Poker face, I'm in the game, right? Need a week to think, maybe 8 nights, so promethazine in a straight flight. Let me cut on my phone, let me get in my zone, let me sit on myself, just leave it alone. I'll be back in a few, got some rapping to do, got some stacking still running, got some laughing to do. Jokes to the side, know that they ain't with the flow I provide. Y'all, notice how I started out, the flow had evolved. Then me and Rollo styles like Wade and LeBron, and it's all money in and your bros is in charge. Come and Nash for the bros carte blanche, and them out of town sweets, cause they know we
The biggest thing that I've challenged them to do is just holding themselves accountable, taking on any challenges head on. Zaya just brings this level of intensity that, you know, some guys just have it. You hear that they have that dog in them. He has, I think, the whole kennel. Matthew as our floor general, very tough, very smart, can stretch the floor, you know, 30 feet or so. Noah is just very tough, hard-nosed guard, willing to do whatever it takes to win both sides of the ball. The identity I want to show is just we bring our packed lunch, we have our hard hats, and we just go to work. We show up, we're ready to work, we're ready to grind, we're not scared of anyone. We're not scared of anyone. We're here to play. We're Southern High School.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Say howdy to the new Buffalo Ranch sauce with its tangy creaminess and its creamy tanginess. It's your chicken's perfect partner, only at McDonald's.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas.
Half a day, everyone. This is Janice Carrasco with KUAM News. Support the Okadu High School class of 2026 by joining the Bulldog Color Run 5K. It takes place on January 18th at Chamorro Village. Start time is 5:30 a.m. and go time is 6 a.m. Pre-register now for $20. Group of 4 is $75 and race day is $25. Scan the QR code to register now. Next up, get your tickets now for Fresco Fest happening January 24th at EPAL Beach Park. Enjoy a Lickle Jordy and 3+ and special performances from Mixed Plate, Maulek Mona, and Kaya. Tickets are online now at frescoclothing.com. Next up, the AOLG Annual Tea Time Celebration 2026 has been rescheduled to January 24th as courtesy and respect for Father Mike. Please join the Academy alumni and their annual Tea Time celebration for an afternoon of camaraderie, fun, and walk down memory lane. Come for the tea, stay for the good company, and enjoy the sisterhood bonding. This is an AOLG alumni exclusive event, guys. It happens on Saturday, January 24th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the AOLG Israel Fine Arts Auditorium. A donation fee of $10 per person is kindly requested. All right, and we're heading over to NBA sports, guys. January 14th, which is Wednesday. It's a game between Minnesota Timberwolves and Milwaukee Bucks. The time is 11 a.m. Portland Trail Blazers at Golden State Warriors at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Happy birthday today, and turning 1 today is Nalea Dene Taimanglonapati. Happy first birthday to our daughter, and please enjoy your special day. We love you from Daddy, Mommy, and brother Zavin. Congratulations and happy birthday. Elaine Castro Blas, attention world, the clan is gathered, the cake has been spotted, and it has been scientifically proven that Elaine Castro Blas is the greatest mom, grandma, and boss of all time. Everyone says happy birthday, and we love you from here to there, everywhere, and all the way back again, in parentheses, with snacks. That's important. Got to have snacks from the clan. That's a great birthday shout out. Best one of the year so far. And Eleanor P. Cruz wishing my wife a happy, blessed birthday with many more to come. Birthday wishes are also coming from your 5 kids and 16 grandkids. See you at your birthday dinner tonight. Everybody, happy birthday. Blessings to you all and your families, and have a wonderful, wonderful celebration. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
And that's your primetime show. Thanks for watching. I'm Destiny Cruz-Langus. Have a safe evening and stay beautiful.
Alpha D.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, gosh, 2026.
Yes.
Last episode, we covered the whole year of 2025.
That's right.
I remember I was sending stuff to our, I guess I can call him our producer, to Jake.
Right.
And I sent him the photos, and I was like, oh, man, Jake, I'm only in March. And then I didn't get back to him. We got so busy towards the end of the year. But, you know, as a great producer, he's like, don't worry, I got it.
Yes.
So he was able to find more photos. But 2025 was a busy year for veterans.
That's right. And we're his favorite. So I'm so happy about that. That just makes me feel good. The year's starting out great.
Yes,
I love it. Thank you.
It is. So I guess we can talk about what's to come for 2026. What events that will be happening in 2026, and maybe some new laws that are in legislation or that were passed for 2026 that affect veterans. So I guess the most recent one was veterans received a 2.8% increase in their compensation.
Right. And that's from the federal side, right?
Right, federal side.
So the Fed's got money, and they have the money to give us, and this is part of their requirement, right, as being the federal government. Now, what increase did we get from our local government?
Our local government, I don't know the budget for the office, but the new legislation that was passed was the bill by Senator Sabrina Salas Manzanani, right?
Right, the committee chair.
Right, about the GOVA office, the Guam Office of Veteran Affairs, and the Veteran Commission.
So it doesn't really mean money, right? It just means
money.
They're working on creating more services for us and trying to improve that. And, we hats off to them, right? Anytime, our veterans send messages to us or tell us there are things that they're not happy with, right? This is never a personal thing on any of these folks, right? But we sometimes have to wonder, right? Is there more that can be done? And then maybe even a better question might be, how can it be done? And, you're listing off all the things on the federal side when you start working. And by the way, we are working with the ASIN office, right? With Joe Meno and as well as the director down there, Jose San Agustin. So they were in observance at our last boot camp in ASIN. So that's a good way for us to really start, bridging the gap between ourselves and the local office, right? And hopefully the feds will follow suit, right? Because, we also have that disconnect sometimes, right? They're very tech savvy over there in the federal side. What they like to do is say, go to the website, right? And it really misses out on a lot of the personal contact and personal, feel or touch and most of our veterans are people.
Well, I think I do talk about the federal side more than the local side because there really is no change in the office. I mean, there was the audit that was done that gave them really negative remarks. And then there was a legislative hearing or the oversight hearing sponsored by the chair, which was Senator Manzanani. And of course, what was to come of that was the promise of the modernization plan. So we still haven't seen any modernization plan that was due December 1st, 2025. So I would love to talk about, local stuff, but right now there's really no movement. Well,
and here's the thing, right? It's unacceptable to say we expected this. That's not an answer that we should be hearing. What we should be hearing for people who are in positions of leadership or positions of, representing our veterans, we should be hearing them saying, what can we do? What steps are we taking to do things? And if that's not the answers that we're getting from some of these folks, maybe we need to start taking a look at what we need to do to get that type of an attitude in there, right? And many folks will say, oh, that's like very, you're asking for so much. Ask a veteran, most especially our combat veterans. Ask them, what did they have to deal with? Ask them, was it much? Was it a lot? Maybe we need to even ask the question, what about our veterans that are not here? Should we ask them that same question? It's too out there. Well, really, as a people, we owe a debt to the veterans. And there might be folks that might disagree out there, but when you start feeling the freedoms and, the lifestyle that you have today, right? Maybe you start realizing just what it means when you have a veteran swear that he's going to, carry out the defense of our nation and help keep us protected and free from, all our enemies, foreign and domestic. So that's maybe something we should be asking.
Did we invent crispy chicken? Nah, we just put it where it belongs, inside burritos and tacos, obviously. Extra saucy. 2 strips, huh? Look at that. Overachieving? Sure. Did you ask for it? No, but we did it anyway. Crispy chicken from Taco Bell, a brand new classic. You're welcome.
So back to our feds.
Yes.
What do we got?
So the next thing is the first one was the 2.8% increase, right? Because a lot of veterans who are getting compensation need to know why there's a bigger dollar amount.
Right.
And then the budget increase. So yes, I talk about the federal because overall, their budget, right, which is what we know, they requested for $441.3 billion. So that's a 10% increase from 2025.
And you know, if we really had our numbers together, right, we could pretty much tell what that what percent is it? 2.8?
10.
What was the increase?
2.8%.
So the 2.8, if we can do like really simple math, right? If we had the number, even any number, I know it's like 20,000, right? So
veterans.
Yeah.
On
So
the island.
what does a 2.8 increase equate to, right? And if we had the number of our veterans, we'll kind of know that. But importantly, that just signals that those that are here that are already receiving benefits have an increase. So that affects our economy, right? What does that mean? That means veterans are bringing money into our island. And if we can't find a veteran out there to start bringing into the system, maybe we need to start doing that, right? If you are a mayor, if you are a community leader, and you're out there, right? Start looking for your veterans and start getting them to get their benefits and start having them own their claims and start doing things like this, because that 2.8, no matter the amount, right? I mean, let's just say
and family members too.
Yeah. So
or their buddies, someone they served with, if they're receiving their benefits. So don't keep it a secret. I don't know why veterans keep this a secret, but this is available for all the veterans.
Is it like $100 increase every month, roughly?
For
the 2.8?
Oh, you mean what is the difference between? So last year we had a 2.5%, and then this year 2.8%.
But what does that? Let's say you're 100%.
About a little over almost $100.
$100.
Yes.
So let's just say they said we have 20,000 veterans on the island, right? Times $100, just for example, right? That's $2 million we're getting every month. Oh my gosh!
And where does the money go?
Exactly. But that's if they're all at 100%.
Right.
They're not all at 100%.
No, not. But that's still an increase, though.
Yes. And could they probably get to 100%? Yes, right? There's new things that your group, HMI, is doing, right?
Yes.
And you do boot camps, and you got a summit coming up. So you're continuing what you did last year with the summit was bringing together most of our partners out there in the community, and that's MWR. That's with Ed Biakin, right? So that's just one of the things. But I'm jumping ahead again, right? So, but doing the same thing of getting these folks to the summit, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, the summit was born out of the symposium and the veterans asking for more.
Right.
And maybe we'll just touch on that real quick. I mean, we got a lot of time, right?
Sure.
Did our producer increase us to 2 hours now? He's a great guy. All I know is we're his favorite. So anyhow, so now that we got, we're starting to talk about that, right? When we started doing the symposiums, and I think we're at symposium 4 this year, or 3 or 5.
Symposium, we are at 5.
Number 5.
Fifth annual.
And then this will be our second summit, right?
Second summit.
You know, there were just different names, and in the future, if our veterans want to make it just summit or just symposium, we can vote on that, I think, right?
Yes,
but
we can.
I think the good thing is the fact that born out of the symposium setup, our veterans asked for, we need to do one more of these types of events, which is the symposium, right? And do one in the beginning of the year. And that's what gave birth to last year's first summit.
Right.
And of course, through Ed Biakin and the good folks up there at the Sunrise Conference Room, and, you know, through MWR. So, you know, great things through collaboration, working with, you know, veterans and a lot of the other places that are able to help us and support us, right? So I think last year, who did we have with us? I think we started with Wounded Warrior.
Right, Wounded Warrior, Westcare.
Westcare was there also.
MWR, and us.
And HMI, right? So,
HMI.
So you know, when we all work together, right? It shows a sign of us really being able to do a lot of things, right, and makes the job a little bit easier.
And I loved Westcare's presentation. You know, it showed us what all of the, you know, services they have to provide.
Yes, and they have a lot of resources and a lot of programs. I think last year some of the programs weren't as vibrant or robust, but I think this year, I think they have some programs. I don't know what has changed, but I guess we'll hear from them.
Yeah, we'll hear from them.
Right. So, and then we have all of our usual suspects.
Right.
Right. We have Social Security come out. That is the crowd favorite.
Yes.
They get on there and it's one whole, you know, hour almost of just questions back and forth. And who did we have? We had a veteran presenting last year. That was the symposium.
Rob Jackson.
No, but for the Social Security, it was Mr.
Josh.
No, was it Josh's first name?
Josh Lee.
No, but then there's the policeman's son. Oh my gosh, they're from Umatic.
That was at the symposium. Not
That was
the
it.
summit,
Yeah,
not
that was
the
it.
summit.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Josh was there at the symposium too, right?
Yes.
So who was it? Oh man, Patrick is the first name, but his son. Anyway, he's a veteran. He's a combat veteran, and he was presenting for the Sanchez. Oh my goodness, how could I not get that name?
What was he presenting for?
For Social Security, remember?
No, I think he was not Social Security. Was he?
I think he was.
No,
Anyway,
I thought he was
so
something else. So.
anyhow, but they were one of the people. Then we had Rue Drillon from DISIT, right? They were presenting. That's another group that had a lot of questions when they were up there. People were asking. And yes, veterans, you are individuals with disabilities. So you do get some help from DISIT, and DISIT is there to help us. We have a veteran in charge over at DISIT, right? That's Paris? Michelle.
Oh, Michelle.
Yes. And
veteran spouse.
Yes. Well, no, she is also a veteran.
Oh, she is?
Yes, she is. And she also put together that one.
Oh, yes. The
worksheet.
VA math.
Yes.
VA math. What we do at our benefit boot camps.
Exactly. So a lot of stuff, right? And that's kind of like the things that are, by bringing all our veterans together, by doing what we did last year, we're going to do the same thing again this year. And hopefully we can do more things. Ben Servino. When Ben Servino came out, he was talking about providing vehicle services, remember? And guess what? We supported him. We put him on the show. We said, hey, we're not sure whether, you're able to do this for veterans, but you're welcome to do it. And let's put you in contact with them. And even if they just needed the care, right, or his services, they can do it. And guess what? He's now contracted through the VA.
Through the VA.
All great stuff by just really, putting everyone together and letting them do all these, great things. So, and I know we ran away from there, right? But let's do more federal stuff.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
And then the next thing is the PACT Act funding. So this is the budget for this year is $52.7 billion for the Toxic Exposure Fund, TEF. So that's continuing the expansion of healthcare and disability compensation for veterans exposed to burn pits and other environmental hazards under the existing Sergeant First Class Health Robinson Honoring Our PACT Act. And that was the one that was passed in 2022. So that's the law that says that covers the veterans that are presumptive for those that were exposed to burn pits, and those that were, for especially here in Guam, that is the
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange, right?
For was it hypertension?
Hypertension and hypothyroidism. hypothyroidism, and diabetes.
Yes. Well, I think yes, and
those are the most common ones.
And regardless,
there's still more.
Yes,
but those are the most common ones.
I think Parkinson's, right, is one of those.
Parkinson's is one of those. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But those are the biggest common ones.
Yeah, and there's a lot more, and this is why veterans should go to the doctor.
Yes. Go to the doctor.
Veterans should file their claim. There's something about this that we've talked about for a while, and when we talk about Agent Orange, we usually talk about Vietnam, right? Our veterans who were in Vietnam War veterans and Vietnam era veterans, right? So that's where the Agent Orange is more pronounced, if you will. And then they have the Niemer cases.
Right.
And those Niemer cases is one of the only times the VA goes out looking for veterans. And I haven't heard that pool of money for those veterans is gone, but many of them, didn't go back to the government after they were treated really poorly when they came back home. So if you are a Vietnam veteran, you probably fall under the Niemer cases. If you swore in from Guam, yes, you're hearing it here. If you swore in from Guam, you are exposed to Agent Orange. And that's part of what the PACT Act talked about as well, right? It allowed for Guam to be one of the areas that has Agent Orange exposure. So if you're a veteran and you swore in from Guam, any reserve, guard, active duty, right? If you are on Guam from 1962 to July of 1980, right, you fall under exposure to Agent Orange. And there's a bigger thing with that, but we'll just stick to that for now.
Right. So that was another funding.
Now that one, were you the one telling me that they're now required to do a little bit more? What's the word? They have to dig deeper about exposure, so that when they file their claims, the VA has to pay attention a little bit more.
So they do a terra memo on the veteran. So whenever a veteran files the claim, the whoever is handling their claim at the VA has to do a terra memo.
Right.
So they have to go find out where they were deployed, where they were stationed at, to find out where they were exposed to anything. So if the VA does miss that, the veteran needs to pay attention and say, hey, where was I? Was I at Fort Ord? Was I stationed on Guam? Did I serve some time near an area that I was exposed to some toxins? And do some research. And then if the VA doesn't say, yes, you were exposed, then you'd have to prove how you were exposed. Where were you stationed at? Where did you serve? In what year?
And by the way, right, when they talk about knowing, right, the VA does have a duty to assist.
Yes.
And we have to share that, they are very busy. And, sometimes it sounds like they're getting bashed for, hey, they didn't check this, they didn't check that. I'll share that the VA, U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, wants to help our veterans, right? And we want them to help our veterans, but in some instances, right, they only have so many resources. They only have so much time to review the information that you give them. That's also why if you go to the boot camp, you will learn that, hey, the information that you provide needs to be concise. They don't need a whole novel about your entire life. They need things that are specific to your claim and how they're related, which is the reason why being in that boot camp will kind of give you the guidance and help you to understand what should be on your statements, right? You need to know the Kaluza triangle.
Right.
You need to know the 5 things that, severity, frequency, duration, social and occupational impact, and how all those things fit together. So just hearing it is just one piece. And many times our veterans will need to go to a boot camp more than once.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we could just hop over to that. So so even though we're doing, this podcast and, the radio show, we are both part of the nonprofit organization, HMI, you being one of the founders. And so one of the things you guys started was the Benefits Boot Camp. And this week, January 6 to 8, we will have Benefits Boot Camp 48 at the Aspen Mayor's office.
Okay.
From 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. So for those listening, it'll probably be too late because we kind of pre-record
it would have been passed.
Yes, it's already passed.
Well, when
so the next one
there you go.
will be It's our second annual Veteran Summit and Boot Camp 49. And that's going to be on Anderson Air Force Base. So that's at the Sunrise Conference Center.
Yeah.
Most people know it as the golf course.
Yeah.
And so, yes, this is geared more towards, active duty, those retiring, separating, Guard and Reserve. And at the same time, those that do have access to base, if they have a Veteran Health Identification Card or they're retired, they have access, they can come to it. So that will be February 11 to 13. And that's going to start, I think, at 7:30 a.m. So it's going to be all-day affair, February 11, February 12, February 13. And we're going to have a boot camp during that time. So Boot Camp 49. So it's our second annual Veteran Summit and Boot Camp 49.
And you get to see all the service providers there, too.
Yes.
So, this is a call out to all those folks that have presented in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Servino, Rue. Start ramping up, guys, because, we're going to be up there. And I think through our discussions, we did speak to the ASIN office, right? If they're able to get involved, we would like for that to happen. I think our veterans would like to see that happening as well. So, Joe Meno and Director Jose San Agustin, I know we had a brief meeting on it. So, whatever we can do, we'll be reaching out. So we appreciate all that.
And then if you missed the February boot camp, we're also having one in March. So we have one every month. In March, it will be at the Inalahan Mayor's office. That is Boot Camp 50, March 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, and I think Mayor Chargaleff had set the gold standard for the food down there. So if you're looking for good food at the boot camps, that is one of the biggest or the best ones. But I have to say that Telefofu had beef shank.
Beef shank. Oh, yes. Beef
So,
shank.
and I think there's more. I think even Mayor Champaco did a good spread there. All the mayors are really doing good, to include the ASIN mayor also.
Oh,
did
yes.
So,
Oh, yeah, he brought Kadu.
He did also Kadu,
Yes,
right?
Kadu, yeah.
So, anyway, so for our veterans that are out there, right, there's usually our veterans are the ones putting a lot of this together, and a lot of our partners in the community. So, if you feel the need to give back to your veterans, this is one way to do it, right? We ask for donations so that, our veterans get to sit there, get their education. And when they do get their education, they're able to, get more of the ability to get more money into the island and get their benefits and their compensation.
Oh, speaking of that, so HMI ran their annual report, and over 447 veterans received their compensation, which is money, right, and benefits. It comes along, with benefits, and so it's over $1 million.
And by the way, that money comes in every month,
tax free.
That's right, and it comes into the island, right? So the veterans receive it. I mean, it goes to their accounts, right? But it's still money that hits our island, right? And those are just the ones that had reported back to us that they got some of their benefits, right? We don't have access to see all of the ones that get it, but we often find them and they tell us later on that they did get more. So this is just those that have come back, and now we are looking at even more ways to just really get a real good picture of what's really going on. And it's important right now for our economy, especially with the tourism industry not being as vibrant as it could be. Our veterans should be our homegrown tourists that we should be, taking advantage of, really catering to them and saying, hey, it's Veteran Day on this day. Come over here, spend some of that money, keep our businesses going, right? And you'd be hard pressed to not find a veteran inside most of these establishments, especially now while the times are really tough. So, not only are they, serving, they continue to serve even by, having that compensation available to them. So the island will take advantage of that, as well as the families.
And then if they can't make it to March, then there's April. So April is Boot Camp 51. That's going to be at the Molesto Community Center, and that's Mayor Champaco, yes.
And where can they get a hold of this list of all the different boot camps?
So you can email us at veterans.hmiguam@gmail.com. You can call 671-682-7631. Or you can also go to our website, which is www.hmiguam.com.
All right. And so it looks like we're just continuing to push through with all this education. I thought when we first started this that it's going to be done in a short time, but it looks like our veterans need more help, and there's a lot of them out there that are coming out, and many of them that still have no idea about what benefits they might have, and the sooner we can get it to them, the better their lives are going to be, and the more we can get more funding coming into the island, and that's a great way for us to really celebrate our veterans, right? Maybe a little off topic, right? Is we spoke earlier a little bit about the Guam Memorial Hospital taking VA Tri-West, right? We also talked about the Guam Behavioral Health, right? And we talked to the deputy director over there who mentioned that they did do that. They do accept veterans over there. So if our government is really having a tough time, right, maybe it's a good way for our government to really cater to our veterans and let our veterans know you can go there and get services. And if the VA is able to pay for it, what better way for us to get our government in order by getting them to get the money. Now, the money might just be the same as the Medicare and Medicaid, and because they're flat across the board for the feds, right? If you're doing TRICARE, if you're doing all the monies are the same for the federal program. So, a veteran who went to combat and is receiving, medical services outside is going to be the same amount that a person who's on Medicaid or a person who's on Medicare will be paying. So it's the same amount.
Right. So let's just jump back. I mean, I just wanted to cover a few of the events for 2026 for the veteran nonprofit that we're a part of, which is HMI. And so let's just jump back to federal side. So more money, Congress provided more money for the electronic health record system, $3.4 billion. So that's if if veterans hop online to va.gov and they go to My Healthy Vet and they see things are changing, that's one of the new things, because they make it easier for veterans, because it's right now the website is very difficult to navigate. You can't find things. You have to guess or use a search bar.
Yeah. And I think, right, with things like that, right, this is where we probably need to